Whistleblower claims FBI is deleting Epstein files. Now, I reported today on the news wrap up earlier today that the FBI was deleting files. I had no idea that they were deleting the Epstein files. So they're definitely hiding what was really going on with Jeffrey Epstein, who he was actually working for. We all know that he was working for some type of intelligence. I believe it was Israel he was working for to set up powerful people so they can have control over these powerful entities. So we're gonna talk about it. I'm basically gonna read verbatim what this author wrote. Interesting take on the whole thing. We're gonna go over, and we're also gonna play some clips as well. But it doesn't surprise me that the deep state is deleting these files, which is absolutely illegal. So before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, share this out so we can get this important information out there. Subscribe if you're not already a subscriber, and hit that alarm bell so you know when I'm putting out new stuff. Also, check out my link tree in the description. It has a link to my Patreon. That's where I talk about things that I can't talk about here. There's also a link to my Instagram and my X account, so follow me there as well. All right, so let's get into this news. Now, this is from Zero Hedge, but it's authored by Blue Apples, whoever that is. But they report, and again, I'm reading this verbatim. He or she says, I hate writing in the first person, but the following is really just meant to express my immense frustration with the Epstein files. Credit to Rudy Havenstein's hype. At this point, I have no idea why anyone in their right mind can consider the forthcoming disclosure of the documents as anything but a marketing ploy designed to coax people into believing that the deep state is being drained. And then I tell you it was a good take. While the Trump administration has markedly improved from its first term in tracking the bureaucracy of permanent Washington compared to its first term, the exception to every rule once again has proven to be its subservience to the state of Israel. There we have it. With Epstein's all but infutable intelligence connections to Israel being a central dimension of the pedophile honeypot trap that he was running, scrutiny of the release of the files has to be viewed through the lens of the obsequiousness. I don't even know that word. I don't even know that word. And y'all know I'm an avid reader and stuff. But that would probably be the only reason that would stop them from releasing the real stuff, is because Israel is behind it. And we know Israel have absolute control over our country. That's a fact. I'm not talking about the Israeli people. We love the Israeli people. We're talking about the Israeli government. Cause for that concern has been amplified following statements made by a whistleblower alleging that members of the FBI have started destroying evidence related to Jeffrey Epstein that is slated for release. The whistleblower, a self-described indefinitely suspended FBI agent going by the name of Garrett O'Boyle, confirmed reports from a source he knows in the FBI to veteran journalist Michael Schellenberger that the files are being deleted. And Michael Schellenberger, he said FBI whistleblower Go Bactual confirmed to me that a source inside FBI said FBI employees were destroying evidence on servers, and that he informed Kash Patel. Now, this I already knew. I already knew this. I reported on this, but I had no idea they were deleting Epstein files. According to the source, FBI employees have been deleting sensitive files on Epstein that have been siloed into secure FBI servers since before newly sworn in director Kash Patel took over as head of the bureau. Due to the nature of the technical infrastructure storing the files, the whistleblower has claimed that the deletion of the evidence would render it completely unrecoverable. While Patel's confirmation as FBI director was celebrated as a seminal moment ushering in a sea of change against the deep state, it appears that it's been business as usual since he took over the post last week. Patel famously promised to shut down the J. Edgar Hoover building and, quote, make it a museum to the deep state on day one of his tenure. While Patel did deploy over 1,000 FBI agents into the field from Washington, the Hoover building remains open, and the most duplicitous members of the Bureau are still operating at large by deleting crucial Epstein files. Wow. The revelation by this whistleblower comes as massive frustration over the handling of the release of the Epstein files has become increasingly vocal. When news broke on Friday, February 21st, that the files were waiting on the desk of Attorney General Pam Bondi, the announcement was met with adulation as speculation regarding who would be exposed ran rampant across X. And y'all know I'm guilty of it as well. I was super duper stoked, super excited. But just 4 days later, that adulation has turned into aggravation, with Bondi coming under fire for the delay in releasing the files being a sign that suspicion that their release would be little more than a limited hangout designed to protect major players for political reasons has been merited. That premise is such a paradoxical contradiction of the Trump administration's self-avowed commitment to put America first and expose the deep state that it has apparently opened a rift in the space-time continuum and transported the United States to an alternate dimension where Democratic Rep Ilhan Omar is starting to sound like the voice of reason. Wow. So this is what Ilhan Omar said. The AG still not releasing the Epstein files is weird and raises the question of who she might be protecting. I agree with that. I actually agree with Ilhan Omar for once. Anna Paulina Luna, the Republican House representative of Florida 13th Congressional District, who has also taken the lead of a task force designed to examine the widespread release of previously secretive documents declassified by the Trump administration, ranging from Epstein to the JFK assassination to 9/11, joined critics of Bondi in directing her frustration at how the document disclosure is being carried out. Luna revealed that she has made several attempts to contact officials at the Department of Justice under Attorney General Pam Bondi regarding the release of the files, but that none of those attempts have been responded to. What are they hiding? What is going on here? But Anna, this is what she said. On February 11th and the 19th, House Oversight sent a letter to the DOJ asking for status on releasing the Epstein files as well as JFK, etc. The DOJ has not responded, reaching out on X because we can't seem to get a response from the AG. What is going on here again? The public's dissatisfaction with how the document disclosure is being carried out has unfairly put the likes of Rep. Luna in the crosshairs, as she has been on the receiving end of similar criticisms to those levied at AG Bondi. However, while the task force she will lead to examine the Epstein files may be little more than kabuki theater, neither Luna nor the task force have any declassification authority to do anything other than encourage the DOJ, DNI, and other high-ranking officials in the Trump administration deliberating upon when to release the files to expedite the process. What is taking so long? Just release it. Everyone that was involved need to be held accountable, no matter if it was a state, no matter who the people is. Everyone that has anything to do with Epstein needs to be held accountable. So what is the holdup? What are they hiding? In addition to airing her frustration to AG Bondi, Luna also spoke about the gravity of the claim about Epstein evidence being deleted that has been confirmed by Schellenberger. Luna confirmed that she intends to have a call with the whistleblower to discuss his claims. She stated that while the FBI employees deleting files have not yet been identified, she intends to pursue prosecution of those confirmed with doing so under any applicable charges, including treason. Absolutely, that's what it is, treason. So let's hear this clip here from Anna Luna. Here we go.
Very alarming series of news bombshells over the last 24 hours. I guess let's begin with the FBI presumably destroying evidence. Can you talk us through, if that is in fact happening, Schellenberger backed up our reporting yesterday, what would be the penalties for that? Have you been in contact with Kash Patel or anybody in the FBI?
The penalty for treason is death. That's what the penalty for treason is.
It seems to be something that would immediately halt your investigation into classified evidence.
Yeah, of course. So I actually have a call set up right after this hit with the actual whistleblower that you were talking to yesterday to get some more information. And then I had a meeting this morning with the task force and our attorneys at task force. Look, it's very possible. First of all, we don't know who it is yet. And obviously we want to run down the sources. But if this is happening, first of all, it's obstructing Congress in our investigation. So you're talking about obstruction of Congress. That's obviously contempt charge. And so we would be bringing that forward if we can find out who it is. But I have the utmost faith in Kash Patel and Dan Bongino to find this. But I just want to be clear about something. From the get-go, from the start of us announcing this committee, we had anticipated that with President Trump's order to declassify documents, that it would be a difficult task, right? We know that when President Trump was previously in office, he was actually blocked from releasing the remaining JFK files by the former Secretary of State. And so we know that President Trump wanted this done. And so Speaker Johnson, Chairman Comer set up the task force to aid the president's efforts. Now, to be clear, we don't hold declassification authority, but we are the action arm and the punitive action arm of the president in the event that stuff like this would happen. And so what you saw was basically, I think it was an effort to discredit the task force. Why would you not want there to be oversight into the declassification process, right? Then we find out that with everything that was happening, we weren't really getting the responses that we wanted. We have government agencies that are obviously getting ready to give us briefings this week. But I did think it was a little bit peculiar that some of the documents that should have been released immediately weren't. And so I started getting vocal about that. Obviously, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that people don't know about. So we have to create paper trails, et cetera. But long story short, when we saw that information coming out yesterday, unfortunately, it doesn't surprise me. Obviously, seeing what CNN was reporting coming out of the CIA is absolutely alarming. But I want people to remember that this embedded corruption has been there for generations. It's been kind of how Washington's been run, I would argue, since JFK was in office. And so there's a lot of work to do, but just remember that this is not by accident that this is all happening right now. And I would like to also let you guys know that I actually just met with the National Archives, and even they said that they're actually weeding out people at the archives that were obstructionists. And so President Trump definitely getting in, I would argue, has saved the country. We would not have known how bad it was had he not taken the executive branch. But again, it's alarming, it's disheartening, and I fully back my words that I said earlier that what the CIA is talking about right now, if people sell secrets to a foreign government, you will be charged with treason. So do not do that. Do not burn documents. You will be held accountable. We will find you. So just don't even do it.
Amen. Let's get them. You know what the penalty, again, the penalty of treason, the penalty for treason is death. Facts. When remaking on Schellenberger's report, Luna attested that she still has the full faith of the FBI Director Kash Patel and his newly appointed Deputy Director Dan Bongino. Luna expounded upon her thoughts, stating that the intent behind setting up the task force aimed at examining the wide array of forthcoming declassified files was done especially to combat the resistance from deep state actors to disrupt their release. However, with the whistleblower confirming to Schellenberger that the deletion of the files has been going on since the task force was assembled, their threat to rein in those nefarious actors have proven to be toothless to the point. The elephant in the room that no one seems to be discussing amidst all this drama is precisely what files are being deleted and why. Speculation rightfully is directed at Epstein connection to the intelligence community, a connection that was literally confirmed by former Trump administration Secretary of State of Labor Alexandria Acosta during his consideration for the position in 2017, Acosta stated that he was instructed to approve a non-prosecution agreement offered to Epstein in 2008 to avoid any federal charges when he was U.S. attorney for the Southern District of Florida. You remember the sweetheart deal? I reported on that. I reported on this years ago, back when I was being called a conspiracy theorist, when I was first talking about this. I was talking about Epstein, how he was guilty of sex trafficking, yet he was put in jail, not prison, he was put in jail, and he got to leave jail to go to work. To go to work. He would go to his office, and they said he had like girls in his office when he would go to his office to supposedly work. Like, this is the sweetheart deal. They work with this. I think he only served a few months in jail. Like, this is crazy. What prosecutor in their right mind, U.S. attorney, would do this to someone who was sex trafficking? But in that role, Acosta was overseeing the prosecution of Epstein following his arrest in Palm Beach, Florida, for charges of sex trafficking minors. Acosta explained the reason behind approving the agreement to Trump administration officials by stating, he said, "I was told Epstein belonged to intelligence and to leave it alone. And we believe that intelligence was Mossad, Israel." The resurfaced controversy surrounding the non-prosecution deal for Epstein that was approved by Acosta ultimately led to his resignation from his post as Secretary of Labor. However, Acosta was not the only Trump administration official with ties to Epstein. Just 2 months following the short jail sentence, which I was just alluding to, Epstein served on state charges following his arrest in Palm Beach. The notorious pedophile was seen with hedge fund manager Wilbur Ross, who served as Trump's Secretary of Commerce from 2017 to 2021. Ross was spotted with Epstein, then alongside former CEO of Apollo Global Management, Leon Black, who resigned from his position in 2021 following an investigation into his ties with Epstein. So Trump had people in his administration back in 2016 that had ties to Epstein. I reported on Leon Black, and I do remember Acosta resigning, but I don't know if I actually reported on that. But the culmination of the Alexandria Acosta saga with Epstein is the closest thing to irrefutable proof that Epstein was connected to the intelligence community that has ever come to light. With concern over what is being hidden by the deletion of the files regarding Epstein that are due to be released, his connection to the intelligence community is one of many considerations that have to be taken into account about what is going to be kept from the public's eye. Epstein's main conspirator in the sordid crimes, Ghislaine Maxwell, was the daughter of Robert Maxwell. I reported on this years ago too, who has long been speculated to have been a secret agent for Mossad, the Israel intelligence office that is equivalent to the CIA. By proxy, the suspicion has led speculation that the intelligence agency Epstein was associated with was the Mossad as well. And remember, Ghislaine Maxwell, she got a pilot's license, all types of stuff. Like, she screams spook as well. Any connection Epstein had to the intelligence community is likely to supersede the rank and file organization of agencies that the public understands about it. In all likelihood, Epstein was being used as an intelligence asset by multiple intelligence agencies from different countries in a coordinated effort, including the CIA, MI6, and the Mossad, although that beckons questions about where his true loyalty lied. Ominously, that same question could be raised about the senior Trump administration officials overseeing the release of the Epstein files. That's true. While those tasked with releasing the evidence have been outspoken critics of the CIA, an overarching intelligence apparatus that serves the pervasive will of the deep state, the one common denominator of certain things certain concern that links all them together, from AG Pam Bondi to FBI Director Kash Patel, Deputy Director Dan Bongino, who I'm a big fan of, and even Rep Luna. And this, I hate to say it, but it's true, is their unequivocal support for the state of Israel. That underlying interest raises questions about whether any evidence implicating the Mossad will ever see the light of day. Vincent James, he posted, Epstein was an intelligence asset for people in the Middle East. I don't know which country, though. Dan Bongino said that? What? Hold on, let's play this clip. Here we go. I've never seen this clip before. Let's see this. Let's see what he says.
About a year and a half after that, I'm in a green room at Fox, and I'm not going to say who because they didn't give me permission to share it, but the short story, but not who they are. It says, you know, Epstein's an intelligence asset for people in the Middle East, right? I'm like, no, I didn't know that. I'm like, you sure of that? The person, let's say, is like, I'm absolutely sure of that. That he's either a witting or unwitting asset, intelligence asset, meaning his plane and that island, the cameras, there's a big assumption out there that these videotapes were exclusively in the custody of Epstein. That's a huge mistake. The reason they wanted this story to go away is because there's an assumption like, oh yeah, Epstein had him. No, he wasn't the only one who had him, according to this source. These assets, that's why this blackmail story makes so much sense. Which Middle Eastern countries they are, I don't know. But this person, who's a very, very good reporter, I mean, aces, right?
Yeah, I've never seen this clip before. Wow. Everyone knows that Israel is responsible for this. Everyone knows that Epstein works for Mossad. I don't know why Dan Bongino will pretend and act like he don't know that. Bongino is an intelligent guy. I used to listen to him for years. I'm very shocked by this. I'm very shocked by this statement here. Wow.
Right. Swore Epstein was either a witting or unwitting intelligence asset, and they may have had his plane wired up, and they're the ones who have all this stuff. So the point is, to sum it up, how do you know some of these countries aren't going to some of these power players who aren't making decisions because, hey, you wouldn't want this video out there, right? How do you know?
100%.
I mean,
let's get personal.
About a year and a half.
I mean, it's obvious. It's obvious who he works for. And then Vincent James said, Kash Patel's first order of business for America, make sure Americans wake up and prioritize Israel. Wow. This is from December 2024.
We will shut off the machinery that feeds money into Iran. We will no longer have 100 hostages still in captivity, Israeli and American and otherwise, by Hamas and Iran's Hezbollah mercenary forces. We need America to wake up and prioritize Israel and bring home Israelis and make sure we stand by our #1 ally in Israel.
Wow. I'm very shocked by this. I had no idea about any of this, but you know, again, nothing against the Israeli people. You know, I love the Israeli people. We're talking about the people that runs Israel, the Israel deep state. That's what we're talking about. BB in the house. This is him with Paula Luna. Like support for Israel, the tangled web woven by the Epstein network defies the partisan divide that is the foundation of the false dichotomy of the two-party system. The uniparty masquerades behind in an effort execute its divide and conquer strategy over the American people. Although many Trump administration officials, past and present, are implicated as associates of Epstein, the same can be said for their Democratic counterparts. Former Bill Clinton and his wife, former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, were known to be close associates with Epstein, with he and Maxwell visiting the White House over a dozen times during the 1990s and continuing to visit them as private citizens years after Clinton left the Oval Office. We all know Hillary Clinton went to Epstein Island just as many times as Bill Clinton did. I've reported on that years ago. with pictures of Bill Clinton aboard the Lolita Express. For those of y'all that might not know, the Lolita Express is the name of the plane that he used to fly to Epstein Island, with victims or Epstein, and documentation of him and Epstein's flight logs have circulated for years, like the abundance of evidence that entered into the public domain long ago. Again, I reported on this forever ago. What those common denominators show is that any attempt to obfuscate the full scope of who was involved in Jeffrey Epstein's crimes is a testament to how strong the bond that formed the uniparty are. While President Trump has challenged the status quo in Washington since returning to the Oval Office, the Epstein files release will be the litmus test of whether he is truly committed to eviscerating the deep state, or if the actions are designed to do nothing more than cement a faction he leads within it as its ruling elite. Wonderful, wonderful article. I definitely agree with it. You know, I love what Trump is doing, but if Trump don't release this stuff, and he don't let it out, if his administration don't let it out, I'm gonna hold him accountable just like anybody else. You know, just like anybody else. So we'll see what happens. But y'all let me know what y'all think about this. Do you think it's gonna actually come out and we're gonna know the truth? You think the deep state gonna get a hold and delete all of this stuff and we will never know the truth? Leave your comments down below. Like, share, and subscribe, and check out jjthepsychotherapist.com for the latest in news. Until next time, peace.